Just a few minutes ago, the first court hearing took place in New York in the case of the Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and his wife, who are accused in the United States of a whole range of serious crimes, for which Maduro faces more than one life sentence in an American prison. Nicolas Maduro himself stated in court that he does not consider himself guilty, that he is still the president of Venezuela, and demands to be treated as a prisoner of war, not as a criminal. And he stated that he was kidnapped straight from his bed in his home in Caracas. The very delivery of Nicolas Maduro to the court turned into a real show, which Americans watched live. Trump has said the United States, which doesn't recognize Maduro as Venezuela's leader, is controlling the situation there, while acting President Delcy Rodriguez has called for cooperation with the United States. While in Venezuela itself a general mobilization for war with the Americans has already been announced, Trump also hinted that he might take military action in Colombia, urged Mexico to get its affairs in order in the fight against drugs, and stated that the United States needs Greenland. But as for Nicolas Maduro, lawyers have already stated that the next court hearing will take place only on March 17 Saturday. And the verdict for Nicolas Maduro may not be announced before 2027. Until then, he will simply be held in an American detention center. My name is Alexi Pecci. Let's discuss this topic together, but before we start, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, like this episode, and leave any comment under this video. This really helps a lot in promoting the content on YouTube, and I would be very grateful to you for that. Also, subscribe to my Telegram channel Pecci News. The link to it is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as it comes in, and often it appears there faster than here on YouTube.
Thank you for watching. Subtitles by Dimitrorzak.
They got him dead to rights through 3 administrations, and that's why the bounty was on his head and most people prior to President Trump grabbing him.
So, I'll briefly go over the latest updates first. The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife, Celia Flores, appeared in court today in New York. During the first court session, the charges were formally read to the Maduros, and the judge made sure that the defendants had legal representation. Also, according to procedure, the judge could have considered the possibility of their release on bail, but the defendants themselves did not make such a request and only asked for consular access. A few minutes after his first appearance in federal court, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro appeared before the judge and stated, quote, "I was taken from my home in Caracas, Venezuela." Maduro's statement presents one of the main arguments of the entire defense. He claims that his arrest in the middle of the night in a foreign country by law enforcement officers of the United States of America is a military abduction, and therefore it is a violation of the law. Nicolas Maduro himself also stated that he still considers himself the president of Venezuela, that he was captured specifically by the military, and therefore he is a prisoner of war, not just a criminal, and he should be treated accordingly. It's worth noting this isn't the first time an accused person has argued they were captured in another country and are therefore a prisoner of war, claiming this generally violates the law. The fact is that more than 30 years ago, Manuel Noriega from Panama made exactly the same accusation against representatives of the United States of America, claiming a violation of international law and guarantees of due legal process for the invasion of Panama and his arrest abroad. However, this argument was unsuccessful as the courts refused to consider the legality of the invasion of Panama itself and focused only on the charges contained in the indictment against Noriega. Most likely, the same thing will happen with Nicolas Maduro. Because today at the United Nations, the representative of the United States of America to this organization directly stated, quote, "There is no war being waged against Venezuela or its people. We are not occupying this country." This was a law enforcement operation in support of legitimate charges that were brought a long time ago. Nicolas Maduro himself tried to put on a bit of a show in court. And so, speaking in court, Maduro spoke in Spanish and used an interpreter, which of course dragged out the whole process, even though Maduro actually knows English. He said he hadn't seen the indictment and didn't know his rights, stating, "I'm the president of Venezuela, not America. I don't know my rights here. No one has told me." Furthermore, he added that he remains the president of Venezuela and therefore he should be treated accordingly. Maduro's wife, Celia Flores, does not plead guilty in the case of illegal cocaine trafficking in the United States. Maduro and his wife requested a consular visit, which the court approved, allowing Venezuelan officials to visit him. Interestingly, Maduro was not allowed to go on for long in his speech. Judge Elvin Hellerstein stated, quote, "There will be a time and place to discuss all of this." And by the way, federal judge Elvin Hellerstein is a 92-year-old native of the Bronx appointed by Bill Clinton. And it's interesting that this judge, Hellerstein, is known for handling and investigating cases related to the September 11 attacks, and he also investigated major financial frauds. Immediately after that, the court set a preliminary schedule for the exchange of evidence and pretrial motions, and according to the schedule, the next court hearing in the case of Maduro and his wife will take place on March 17. It is worth noting that the Americans, of course, turned this court case into a show and put Maduro on display in front of the cameras. This is very unusual for a federal court and for the federal system in general, because usually photos of detainees are not published, since this creates risks for their ability to present their defense, because they are considered innocent until proven guilty. So, presenting Maduro as definitely already a criminal is not entirely legal and not entirely ethical, because this could later play against the prosecution itself. Maduro and his wife, let me remind you, were captured by American special forces from their residence in Caracas on the night of January 3rd. First, they were taken to an American military ship, after which they were transported by plane to New York. Maduro and Flores were held in a detention facility in Brooklyn intended for high-security individuals until the trial. At various times, this detention facility housed other inmates. The founder of the Sinaloa cartel, that very El Chapo, his name was Joaquin Guzman, In addition, the alleged killer of United Healthcare's head, Brian Thompson, Luigi Mangione, was also held in this same detention center. In this same detention center is Pedidi, that very rapper Pedidi, and the accomplice of financier Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. But, as has already become clear, there won't be a quick verdict. As reported by Bloomberg, former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's United States trial won't start before 2027. For now, only the schedule for exchanging evidence and preparatory procedures is being planned. In the United States, Maduro is accused of a years-long conspiracy to smuggle cocaine into the country, as well as cooperating with well-known criminal groups including the Sinaloa cartel and the organization Tren de Aragua, which are recognized as foreign terrorist organizations in the United States. Overall, the charges cover more than 25 years of Nicolas Maduro's activities, and for all the crimes combined, Maduro faces several life sentences. Currently, Maduro is being held under strict conditions. This includes limited communication, constant monitoring of his movements, and spending up to 23 hours a day in his cell. And experts note that such conditions are a challenge even for a very strong-willed prisoner. In general, it's clear that Maduro and his wife will remain in the pretrial detention center, and this court process will be quite long and drawn out. So in the meantime, what happens? In Venezuela, a general mobilization has been declared and preparations are ongoing for a confrontation with the United States. Nicolas Maduro's brother has already appeared, saying that my brother was kidnapped and that all of this is illegal. And in Venezuela itself, there is a gradual reformatting of power taking place. But I will definitely talk about this in one of the next episodes, so make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss it. I'll leave it at that for now. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments under this episode, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like the video. Friends, if you found this episode useful and interesting, you can support the work of this YouTube channel financially with your donation or a paid subscription using the links and details provided. In the description of this video, it says support the Alexi Pichi channel. Choose any format that's convenient for you. I appreciate any support. That's all for now. Take care. Goodbye.